This is it, and see you in July.
Fire paramedic 33, what is the emergency?
Yes, sir. I need an ambulance as soon as possible, sir.
Okay, sir, what's your address?
It's 100 North Carrollwood
Ed,
Drive.
I was thinking, what the heck?
He gave him some drugs, some Valium, Lorazepam.
Get help, get security, get Prince. I dropped what I was doing.
He freely admits that for months he's been using this to help.
He's 50 years old, sir.
50, okay. He's unconscious, he's not breathing?
Yes, he's not breathing, sir.
Okay, and he's not conscious either?
No, he's not conscious, sir.
Okay. All right.
He said, find me an anesthesiologist. I don't care how much money they want. Find me an anesthesiologist to be with me here overnight and give me this IV. My doctor told me this is a safe medicine. I said, it is not a safe medicine. I just called a friend of mine. It has a multitude of side effects. I said, central nervous system problems, there's memory loss. I mean, the last end result of this is death. I said, you don't want to do this. He said, no, my doctor said it's safe. It works quick and it's safe. As long as somebody's here to monitor me and wake me up, I'm going to be okay. He kept saying anesthesiologist like he knew. I didn't even know what it said about the medicine and how it was used for anesthesia. So Michael was fully aware of it. He said, I had it before and I slept good. And I said, well, it is not safe. I don't know why anyone is telling you it's safe. What was really, really bad.
This nurse that Michael had bought a lot of herbs and things from came to my house the next day after Michael died. And she told me a lot of things about Dr. Murray, and she also told me that Michael had asked her about some things, and she had turned him down. And Dr. Murray, I guess, wanting money and being greedy, he had to be greedy because $150,000 a month? Why didn't he say, well, Michael, if you can't sleep, well, let's go and see a therapist for that. Or let's go and see a doctor that specializes in that. A doctor that specializes in insomnia or whatever. But he never said that. People might say he had overindulged in plastic surgery, but they don't know what went on before. Michael had a disease also, and the color of his skin was changing, vitiligo.
Were you worried he was having too much, though, facial reconstruction?
I don't know why people said he had too much. He did change, but not that much. He had his nose done, and that really changed, because that's the center of your face, and that'll change your looks.
On June 25, 2009, pop legend Michael Jackson died after receiving a lethal combination of medications at the age of 50. This included a fatal dose of the anesthetic propofol, which bears the nickname milk of amnesia. Propofol is intended for use during surgery and was administered by Jackson's doctor, Conrad Murray. He was later charged with involuntary manslaughter. Although Murray states that 6 different prescription drugs were in Jackson's system at the time of his death, propofol was allegedly the Thriller singer's favorite. During his trial, Murray's police interview was played for the jurors, in which he described Jackson begging for the drug during the final hours of his life. Murray stated, "At that time he said, 'Can I have some milk?' He said, 'Please, please, give him some milk.' He said, 'Just make me sleep. Doesn't matter what time I get up. I can't function if I can't sleep.'" Murray claims that he eventually agreed to give Jackson the propofol. He then left his patient for a couple of minutes and found the musician not breathing when he returned.
In June 2009, amidst rehearsals for a sold-out series of London concerts designed to revive his career, music superstar and king of pop Michael Jackson unexpectedly died at the age of 50. After being discovered unresponsive at his Los Angeles home, emergency revival techniques failed and Jackson was pronounced dead at a local hospital. Jackson died from an overdose of the powerful surgical painkiller propofol, for which his personal physician, Dr. Conrad Murray, was found criminally responsible. Jackson was close with his sister, who spoke about the death about a year later on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Regarding efforts to address her brother's substance abuse issues, Jackson said, "People think we were in denial, but we weren't. We tried intervention several times. He was very much in denial. He didn't think he had a problem." Janet added that Michael's death was hard to believe, saying, "There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think about it, that all of us in the family don't think about it, every single day."
I am saying that Michael Jackson died, unfortunately, from an accident based upon his actions.
Hand on heart, you don't believe that, do you? You made that up. That's just not true.
That's not the case.
Look, if you are his friend, you would not tell that story.
I was not present when Michael Jackson took matters in his own hand. Michael Jackson, as you have realized now, is a drug addict.
I've got to be honest and say, a court didn't believe you. Jurors didn't believe you. The judge said this was medical madness, that this was a homicide case, not even malpractice. Michael Jackson died because you killed him.
I did not kill Michael Jackson. I met Michael Jackson in his state, lifeless or not.
What was really, really painful is that he called me last Sunday, in the afternoon, and he said, well, the person who called for him, I could hear Michael in the background. He called me and said, he was very frantic, and he said, "Michael needs to see you right away. Can you come and see him?" And I said, "What's wrong?" And I could hear Michael in the background, Tell her that one side of my body is hot, and one side of my body is cold. It's very cold." And I said, "Tell him he needs to go to the hospital. I don't know what's going on with him right now, but I'm in Florida, and I cannot come. But he needs to, check that out immediately if he's having that type of symptom." I said, "I'm not comfortable with that. Tell him to please go to the hospital and check that out right away." But he said, no. He said, one side is very, very hot, one side is cold. I said, "I don't know what that could be. Maybe it's his heart, maybe it's his central nervous system." And at that point, I knew that somebody had given him something that hit that central nervous system, because, that's all he wanted was to sleep, but he was in trouble. He was in trouble Sunday, and he was crying out Sunday.
And it just kind of lobs off what happened after 1987, which would include multiple people accusing him of child molestation. They did it for a reason. They originally had a piece on the end of it that addressed the scandal and tried to dismiss it. But then somebody called to their attention that they had signed a bunch of non-disclosure agreements, mutual non-disclosure agreements with his accusers, which barred not only the accuser from speaking, but the Michael Jackson estate.
Holy shit. I just covered this same type thing with Kanakuk. Did you hear about Kanakuk,
No.
the big Christian camp?
No.
Well, they're pretty much done now. But yeah, there was a bunch of sexual abuse, like really bad shit, like
At a kids camp?
reading scripture over kids while they're molesting them, like all that kind of stuff. So, and then they would settle with the kid's parents, and the kid could never talk about it again. So we blew the doors off in here with Elizabeth Phillips, whose brother committed suicide because he signed one of those
Oh, gosh.
NDAs.
If you want.
But here's the thing about Michael Jackson. What Michael Jackson's doctor said was they had chemically castrated him, and they kept him like a castrato. They kept him with that voice. I don't know if that's true, but that's what the guy who killed him, the guy who went to jail for anesthetizing him every night.
Jesus, man.
I mean, he wasn't even sleeping. He was just getting sedated. It's the nuttiest thing of all time.
You can just imagine people were just thinking, what did we just watch? This man is walking backwards. He seems to be defying gravity. I mean, he was just such a tremendous talent. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about him, remind you guys really rather a little bit about him, because there, of course, was no person perhaps on earth that was more famous than Michael Jackson was as a Hollywood celebrity. Michael Joseph Jackson was born on August 29th, 1958. And as we all know, Michael and his brothers, Marlon, Jackie, Tito, and Jermaine, formed a band in 1962. And Michael was the lead singer in most of their songs. Their father was at first hesitant, but then he agreed to manage the band. And they became the Jackson 5, and they signed to Motown in 1968. Now, the band was an instant success, and they gained fans worldwide. Again, like I said, you can't even imagine the level of fame that Michael Jackson reached even when he was just a small boy. Women throwing themselves at him, the young women older women throwing himself at this young boy. And it transformed him, obviously. And Michael stood out amongst his brothers because of his voice and just his tremendous star quality. I mean, I'm going to let you listen to him sing a cappella. Take a listen.
When they raided Michael Jackson's home in 1993 in connection with the first allegation brought against him that did not result in criminal charges because the family took a $20 million settlement and went away and wouldn't cooperate with the cops. But in that case, there was a search warrant for his home. They went into his home and in a locked box in his bedroom found 2 pedophile books from the NAMBLA, the North American Man-Boy Love Association.
Oh my God.
It's another word for pedophiles. And they were full of naked pictures of boys, like really graphic naked pictures of boys. That's what Michael Jackson had in his own bedroom in a locked file. There's no one who's not a pedophile who has that. And one of them had his own handwriting in it, saying something to the effect of, what could be more joyful than these beautiful boys?
Oh my God.
So there's no question he knew it was there. He had handled it. He had looked at it. And then there was another boy whose fingerprints were found in Michael Jackson's room on a barely legal Hustler magazine. And they found the boys, at least 2 boys' fingerprints on it. So at a minimum, it proves he was showing porn to boys in his room. Anyway, those are facts that are really tough to deal with.
Oh, man.
And it just kind of lobs off what happened after 1987, which would include multiple people accusing him of child molestation. They did it for a reason. They originally had a piece on the end of it that addressed the scandal and tried to dismiss it. But then somebody called to their attention that they had signed a bunch of non-disclosure agreements, mutual non-disclosure agreements with his accusers, which barred not only the accuser from speaking, but the Michael Jackson estate.
Holy shit. I just covered this same type thing with Kanakuk. Did you hear about Kanakuk,
No.
the big Christian camp?
No.
Well, they're pretty much done now. But yeah, there was a bunch of sexual abuse, like really bad shit, like
At a kids camp?
reading scripture over kids while they're molesting them, like all that kind of stuff. So, and then they would settle with the kid's parents, and the kid could never talk about it again. So we blew the doors off in here with Elizabeth Phillips, whose brother committed suicide because he signed one of those
Oh, gosh.
NDAs.
If you want. And so he was acquitted. And then there were reportedly multiple payouts over the years that he kept quiet. His mother reportedly said to LaToya Jackson, I've seen the checks. There are a lot of them. There's another report that by Diane Diamond, journalist who used to work for Hard Copy, and she was integral to the whole Michael Jackson reveal. She actually had gotten lots of tips about him, including from Division of Child and Family Services. She kind of broke this whole case open back in the 90s. But she had reported that at least $200 million had been paid out by him to keep people quiet.
Wow.
Yeah, but the ones we know about are the 93, the 2005, then the 2019 documentary. I use that term very loosely because it wasn't. But that's where Wade Robson and James Safechuck, who had been child prodigies around Michael, one had been at a commercial with him, one had won a dance contest as a lookalike who danced just like him, and then got folded into his inner circle. They came out after years of defending him. Wade Robson took the stand at his trial and said, absolutely not, as a kid. James Safechuck, I think, gave a deposition in the case, but didn't take the witness stand at trial and said, absolutely not, never. Macaulay Culkin took the stand at his trial and said, absolutely not. Emmanuel Lewis, who played Webster on that Smash series, he didn't take the stand, but he said, he says to this day, not a finger, absolutely not. He's never touched me. Well, so that's 4 I just named. 2 out of the 4 maintain their stories to this day. There's a third who's same. He took the stand and said never. And that guy too, he maintains the story, never. But 2 of the ones, Safechuck and Robson, in the 2019 documentary, changed their story 180 and said he was molesting me the whole time. That was 3 or 4 years after they had both filed a civil lawsuit against the estate for money. Why did they file a civil lawsuit in 2013 or 14 or 15 in that time frame? The estate had started making money again. It was all but destitute when Michael died.